Hi everyone. Today I'm back with First Chapter Friday, and this week's book is an awesome read. It's the first book in a series, and the second book came out fairly recently. And it is also part of our Battle of the Books. It is called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I really enjoyed this book. This one I've already read, so it's not like a surprise reading of the beginning for me this time. I'm going to be reading you a little bit of the first chapter, and then I hope that you will be interested and want to check it out because I think you'll really enjoy it. All right, so A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Part one. And what's neat about this book is it's got like some different kind of artifacts in the book, only in certain spots. So it's about a girl who is investigating a murder, a case that was never closed. So it's a senior capstone project proposal 2019-2020. And I'm not going to read you every little detail because it's kind of lengthy, but I'll read you some of it, okay? The course of study or area of interest for this topic. She's filling out like her plan of how she's going to do her capstone. It says English, journalism, investigative journalism, criminal law. So those are the things she's thinking of studying. The working title for her project: Research into the 2014 Missing Persons Investigation of Andy Bell in Fairfield, Connecticut. Then the next statement says, present the topic to be researched in the form of a statement. A report on how print, televised, and social media have become key players in police investigations, including the Andy Bell case, and the implications of how the press presented Sal Singh and his alleged guilt. And then these are the resources she's going to start with. Interview with missing persons experts, interview with a local journalist who reported on the case, newspaper articles, interviews with members of the community, textbooks and articles on police procedure, psychology, and the role of the media. And then these are the comments from her instructor, Pippa. That's the student's name. This is an incredibly sensitive topic as it concerns a terrible crime that happened on our own town. Your project has been accepted only on the condition that no ethical lines will be crossed. Please find a more focused angle for your report as you work through your research, and there is to be no contact made with either of the families involved in this case. This will be considered an ethical violation, and your project will be disqualified. And then at the end, you see that Pippa signs the agreement that she's going to make sure to not cross any ethical uh, lines, right? Okay, chapter one. Pip knew where they lived. Everyone in Fairfield knew where they lived. Their home was like the town's own haunted house. People's footsteps quickened as they walked by, and their words strangled and died in their throats. Shrieking children would gather on their walk home from school, daring one another to run up and touch the front gate. But it wasn't haunted by ghosts, just three sad people trying to live their lives as before. A house not haunted by flickering lights or spectral falling chairs, but by dark spray painted letters of Scum Family and stone shattered windows. Pip had always wondered why they didn't move. Not that they had to, they hadn't done anything wrong, but she didn't know how they lived like that, how the Sings found the strength to stay there. Here in Fairview, under the weight of so many widened eyes, of the comments whispered just loud enough to be heard, of neighborly small talk never stretching into real talk anymore. It was a particular cruelty that their house was so close to Fairview High School, where both Andy Bell and Sal Singh had gone, where Pip would return for her senior year in a few weeks when the late summer sun dipped into September. Pip stopped and rested her hand on the front gate, instantly braver than half of the town's kids. Her eyes traced the path to the front door. It was possible that this was a very bad idea. She had considered that. Pausing for just a second, Pip held her breath and then pushed the creaking gate and crossed the yard. She stopped at the door and knocked 3 times. Her reflection stared back at her. The long dark hair, sun bleached, a lighter brown at the tips. The pale white skin, despite a week just spent in the Caribbean. The sharp, muddy green eyes, braced for impact. The door opened with a clatter of a falling chain and a clinking of locks. Hello? He said, holding the door half open, with his hand folded over the side. Pip blinked to break the stare. But she couldn't help it. He looked so much like Sal. The Sal she knew from all those television reports and newspaper pictures. The Sal now fading from her memory. Ravi, his brother's messy black side-swept hair, thick arched eyebrows, and oaken-hued skin. Hello, he said again. Um, Pip faltered. He'd grown even taller since she'd last seen him. She'd never been so close before, but now that she was, she saw he had a dimple in his chin, just like hers. Sorry. Hi. She did an awkward half wave that she immediately regretted. Hi? Hi, Ravi, she said. I, you don't know me. I'm Pippa Fitz Amobi. I was a few years below you at school before you left. Okay. I was just wondering if I could borrow a second of your time. Well, not only a second. We're already way past that. Maybe like a few sequential seconds if you had time to spare. Oh God, this is what happened when she was nervous. Words just spewed out, unchecked and over-explained until someone stopped her. Ravi looked confused. Sorry, Pip said, recovering. I mean, I'm doing my senior capstone project at school, and what's a senior capstone project? Well, it's kind of like a senior thesis you work on independently alongside a normal class. You can pick any topic you want, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to be interviewed for a minute. What's it about? His dark eyebrows hugged closer to his eyes. It's about what happened 5 years ago. Ravi exhaled loudly, his lip curling with what looked like anger. Why? He said. Because I don't think your brother did it, and I'm going to try to prove it. All right, so we're going to stop right there. It continues on, and you see how she goes and talks to the families. Now, you saw the very first part of the book where it said the teacher, the instructor was telling her, you must not contact the families. What was step one? She went and contacted the families, and she's talking to them about what happened. So you can imagine, how it might move on from there. But what I love about Pip in this story is she's super passionate. She truly believes that the person who was accused of the crime didn't do it. And so she puts all her effort into that. She becomes absorbed in it. And I think that if that sounds interesting to you, finding out like who did it with some surprises in there in a small town and all the gossip and all of that, I think you'd really like this book. I did want to make sure it is part of the Battle of the Books. So if you're interested in doing that, when you come back in the fall, you can become part of our team for the campus. You have to read 4 books in all. I'll be sharing those other books soon. But they're all really great books this year. So I think that it's a great chance to get involved and participate. Of course, you can read it and not participate in Battle of the Books, but hope you enjoy it. Please let me know if you read it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.